All right, and we're live. Hi, everyone. This is the Modern Mediums with Tonia Aiken and Alesia Smith. How y'all doing today, guys?
We're doing good.
Great. Doing great.
So y'all have some events coming up tomorrow and Wednesday, right?
And Friday.
Yes.
And Friday. Man, that's just a lot this week. Okay. So why don't we start by what do we have? Let's just start talking about the events we have this week. That way we can kind of get that kicked off.
Okay.
That way people know where they're going this week.
All right. Well, I'll start, I guess, with we're Crown to Root
Okay.
tomorrow, which is on Eagle Drive in Raceland, and it is going to be a gallery from 6 to 7 and mini Reiki energy sections from 7 to 8. And so, if you'll bring a photo of a loved one. We'll do a little after party. Make sure that everybody has a reading, and we'll be there tomorrow with Cindy.
So
Look forward to seeing you, Cindy.
Everybody will get something. So it's going to be it'll be nice and relaxing. So we hope to see you there.
Awesome.
And our next event is going to be this one here. It's Heaven Sent Mediumship Gallery. It is from 6 to 7 at Mystic Bayou. They will have open house from 6 to 7, and then from 7 to 9 will be the gallery, and that will be a couple doors down at the NOLA Southern Grill Lagniappe Room. And so the donation, the fee is $20. Everybody will then get after the gallery. Everybody then can stay for either photos where we'll read those, or Reiki. We'll do Reiki sessions and mini sessions with them. So we try to give everybody something so that they leave happy and they leave with something.
Yeah, very fulfilling night.
Okay, and our next one, I don't have that one here. It's going to be at Twisted Hair Salon. Twisted Hair Salon is going to be on Friday, and we actually will be doing it from 1 to 6. And we'll be doing, we call it Reiki readings.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a very personal event, and we've done these before. And we work in a wonderful coalition with our friend Shauna at Twisted Hair Salon. She's on Britannia. And people come in, and first they'll get a reading with me, and then they'll go to Tonia, and they'll go through their Reiki session.
And then
she does a little reading for them, too.
I do a little mini reading for them so that by the time they leave, they've had a couple of readings, they feel relaxed, they feel happy. And we did something different last time. We had a family come in.
Yes.
And we did, we called it fireside chat, but the two of us actually gave them readings at the same time.
Yeah, which is nice. So if you ever have a group of 3 or 4, you and your family, and y'all want to have a little get together, and just have us both come, we call it a little fireside chat, and we do individual parties like that too.
So that's what we have, and then we have something on Monday. So this is a busy week. We've both been on vacation, so we're coming back and we're starting out full speed.
Yes.
This one is called Whispers from Heaven. It's a mediumship gallery, and it's with Brandy. Brandy is going to be with us, Miller, along with Alesia and myself, and it will be at Unity Church, and the address is 3939 Veterans. So that will be from 7 to 9. And again, what we do is we do the gallery, and then at the end we usually have healing sessions at the end and readings for photos. So everybody gets something and they leave with something.
Yeah, we love our venue there too. It's really nice. People are used to coming there. We have our regular folks that we see quite often. It's a nice.
It's kind of like a family. It's become a family.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing it for over a year now at Unity Church. So it's like, hi guys, how y'all doing? Come on in.
It's nice
So
to see
it's really we enjoy that venue very much.
Yeah.
So that's some of it, and then we have more things starting in August, which we'll talk about later. But this is what we're doing in the next week.
Awesome. So definitely, if they can't make it out Tuesday, they can come Wednesday. If they can't make it Wednesday, there's Friday and Monday. So many opportunities to see all of you.
Yeah, please come. Please come.
So at these galleries, what y'all talk about is y'all give readings and y'all do healing work. One of the things that a lot of people have questions about is these readings, these mediumship readings. When y'all are standing up there and you are feeling spirit come through and you're feeling that energy from the communicator, what's going on? What can you explain better to people who are watching this gallery who may not be mediums or understand how spirit works? what's happening within your head or your energy system. What's going on with that communicator?
Right. Well, each person is different. Each medium is different. And so for me, as I connect, I just go into a very quiet or still feeling. I become very passive, and I can see with my mind's eye this person walking forward. I'll first get the gender, and then I'll get a relationship, and then I'll build from there. Then the personality starts coming through, and then I start seeing them walk or laugh, or they're cutting up, or they're walking, from here to there, and then they'll give me memories. And so it'll, these memories just kind of drop in, and it's as if I lived that memory. And so these communications are so wonderful because I not only have my life experience here, but I have the life experience of all these people, through all the readings and the life experiences, and you get to just dip your toe into that moment of that person and what they went through. You feel a lot of compassion, so it's really interesting.
And so, is it images? I said you see these memories and you get this information.
Yes.
Is it a little bit of everything? Or is it very literal, or do you have to explain it? Do you have to translate it?
Yes, absolutely. It's some of everything. So all the things that you've mentioned, it's some of that. Sometimes it's organic and it just floats in, and they'll tell me that I'll feel the boots that they have on their feet. I can feel myself walking. I'll even see dark blue pants or khaki pants. I'll see the uniform that they wore every day. I'll feel them working, like what they did, a little bit of how they worked in their lifetime. Then I step into the personality and the relationship they have with this loved one, their father, their brother, their cousin, their uncle, whoever this is. I feel this person in the relationship and the love they had for the person that's here.
And Tonia, how does it work with you when you're up there getting this message from a communicator?
Well, again, you have to, like Alesia said, you have to quiet yourself, because actually you're not using the left side. You're not using the analytical side of your brain. You actually are coming in from the right side. So immediately what I'll do is I'll just go into a quiet state, and I'll start seeing images that start hitting here, and I'll get the vision, whether it's male, female, the father, grandfather, mother. Then I'll also start getting personality, because they give you language, they give you body movements, and they'll sit up there with their hips and they'll do this, and so then you, as the medium, you're giving it to just like they would say it, and then they go, that's my mom, that's what she would do, that's what she would say. So you're giving them the personality, and then they'll say certain phrases. I'll see things. Because I'm a writer, I also see a lot of words. And the word, actually, I just see it kind of crosses over here, and I'll see movie pictures. So I'm a very visual person, but I also smell. I mean, we smell smoke. We smell, the food that they might make.
And you've had a lot of taste.
And taste. You may taste the chemo. You may taste what they're tasting, what was their favorite food. You also feel, I feel a lot of things. For example, one time I was giving a reading to someone, and all of a sudden I was having difficulty walking and pain in my legs, and I said, was there something going on with your son's legs? And sure enough, toward the end of his life, he couldn't walk and he had difficulty. So you'll start feeling some of the things that the loved one felt in parts of their life. And you also may feel certain things, like if they had chest pains or they had a heart attack. Sometimes you might feel that, and you have to let that go because it's not yours. You don't own it. They also are very funny, and they're very comical.
They are funny.
Because usually I'll ask Spirit, I'll say, okay, give me something that your loved one, a sign that you normally give to your loved one. So I'm going to tell the squirrels. so one time I had a grandfather come in for the granddaughter, and I said, well, give me a sign. What do you normally bring, birds or butterflies? And he says, I send squirrels. And I said, I'm not saying them. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying squirrels.
It's like, I'm not going to say squirrel.
He says,
This sounds
you have to say squirrels. I said, okay. I said, he says that he sends you squirrels. She goes, get out of here. She goes, squirrels follow me around.
She said, I swear to God, they call me the squirrel
They
whisperer.
call me the squirrel whisperer. And I went, okay. So you have to trust, and trust is very, very important. What the loved one is sending to you, because they are connecting and they're trying to send you messages. And that's another thing. Not every medium, in the spirit world, the loved ones try to find the right medium that has some of the same life experiences or something that can relate, because a lot of times we have to try to interpret or at least give something to the reader.
Right.
So that's very important. Like I said, it's just, you never know what they're going to give you, but you try to give them enough evidence so that they know that is the loved one. And then we try to give a message at the end.
Yeah.
Because usually they're there because they want to tell them something, whether it's about maybe their career, or maybe they're having a tough time right now, but it's going to be better soon. And they try to give that enthusiasm, that, that
Right.
push.
And sometimes those messages have to do with what's going on in that person's life right now.
Right.
Or what's getting ready to happen, and they're trying to help them through, or just to let them know that they're there for that time, that they're going to be there, they're going to be with them.
Exactly. So what we try to do is to give them something as a medium that can help them. I mean, that's why we're doing this. I mean, it makes you feel so good when you give that person a message that helps them heal, and that helps confirm that there is. We don't call it talking to the departed. We call it talking to your loved one who is
They're
an
transition.
energy. They transitioned.
Yeah.
And they're not, we don't feel like they're dead, because your energy never dies. It's just in a different dimension.
Yeah, different transitory state, for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
So when communicating with these loved ones and giving these messages, what is the most difficult thing for you at the time of that connection?
Well, I think sometimes you're overwhelmed with the feelings. I'm feeling the feelings of the mom. I'm feeling the feelings of the child, or the daughter, or son, or mother, or father. And so you're trying to pivot and also deliver the information correctly. And you are flooded with the feelings. You're flooded with these feelings of love, or they're trying to get through a feeling of regret or remorse, or whatever it is that they're trying to get through these feelings. And so in order for me to interpret this, sometimes my spirit guides feel like I really have to feel it times 3. So they'll really give me an extra punch of it so I can really feel it, so that they know I'll get it correctly. And so, of course, after the years have gone by, I'll tell them, okay, I got it quick. I've got it really quickly. It doesn't have to linger. I've got it. And so the faster I can receive the information, the less that, that I have to feel it.
Because sometimes it is very traumatic. You may feel like a suicide. You may feel that pain or that depression. And all of a sudden it just like, whoof, it hits you. And it's like, whew, and you get so overwhelmed. But you have to put, you have to stop and say, that's not mine.
Yeah, they really want you to feel what they felt, so that you can translate that and to make sure that the parent knows, look, I was not in a good place, and this is where I went with this, but I really want you to know this is how I felt.
Right.
So it's just about communication.
And that they're okay right now. The other thing you were asking, some problems sometimes is that when you're doing galleries or you're doing readings, people are so caught up in trying to think, is that my dad, that my mom? They don't recognize the evidence that you're giving them, and you're saying certain things and you're telling them that, and then 5 minutes later they go, I think that's me. It's like, okay, and that's okay.
I don't know how I forgot that he wore plaid pajamas every night, because he wore plaid pajamas every night. I just forgot. Right. I don't know. It's just I had amnesia for the moment.
Right, but and then so then you go, okay, well, let's talk about it. So that is one thing that we see a lot of, and it's just kind of caught up in the moment. And some of them are afraid to raise their hand. If there's a gallery, they don't. They're afraid.
That's a good thing to talk about. Like whenever we do a gallery, we ask people. They're afraid to say too much, and then they're afraid not to say anything at all, but or to raise their hand or acknowledge. And so we try to to have a conversation before we start the galleries.
Right.
You know, that if this is for you, please just raise your hand and say, yes, I did have a dad, and yes, he did pass of this, and yes, he did have that color hair, and these, you know, whatever evidence that we're bringing that day. So
Well, and we want to tell people that everyone has the ability. It's just that, you know, and a lot of people that we've talked to, they say, you know, I think I have intuition, or I think I'm intuitive. And you go, that's great. And they go, but I don't know what to do with it. You know, you need to get training. You need to learn to fine tune your skill so that you can do it.
Right.
So that is one thing we want to make sure people understand. It is a gift that you can fine tune, and everybody can have it.
yeah, and I think also not only with that, but learning healing for the fears that you have in your life.
Right.
As you conquer one fear and another, then the information becomes clearer.
Right.
Then your intuition, you're no longer you're not going to separate yourself from this intuition, from this source of all that is coming through to you. You no longer want the separation. So you conquer your fears, you heal the parts of your personality or the parts of things that are hurting you. Right. The information becomes even clearer.
Right. So you have to heal yourself first, so that you can become the best medium that you can, so you can deliver those messages.
Yeah.
So when people come, is this something that they could bring young children to, say from like 12 and up?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because this definitely seems like something that would be nice, especially if a family has lost somebody. Because I know children have a hard time dealing with grief.
We've in many of our galleries we have children that, or
We
you
have
know, around
families,
11,
yeah.
12. We have families that
Yeah.
come.
I mean, you wouldn't want a young child there. I don't think that they would be able to comprehend
And
what's
what's
going
going
on, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, by the time they're 12 years old and up, I think that's an appropriate age, because it seems like all the kids that come really enjoy
it.
and they're learning a lot.
Well, and we have some of the kids that come, they are intuitive themselves.
Very.
So
Oh
they
my gosh,
find
very
it's
gifted.
comforting to have a place where they go, okay, I don't feel so strange. I don't
Yeah.
feel so weird. I understand
What the message that I
and the
receive.
messages, and
I get it.
I'm getting these messages from the spirit world, and I understand that it's okay, and I'm okay, and I'm normal. And that's good. I mean, we want them to understand that.
Right.
So it's been really good.
Yeah, the more they participate, the more they say, oh, I understand why I got that like that.
Exactly.
Oh, I get it. That was him showing me the boots
Right.
that he wore. Now I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in your mediumship and where y'all are, the way y'all work, what can someone expect to see at a gallery in connection versus with getting a private one-on-one session? Is it a big difference?
Yes,
In some
for
ways.
sure.
In a gallery, you typically have, you know, anywhere from normally 10 to, we've had
30,
60,
40,
70
60, yeah,
people
60,
or more.
60 people, yeah.
Whatever. It's a large group, larger than, you know, your smaller, more intimate groups. At a gallery, we will typically start to receive messages, and then we will determine who the message is for. Not everyone in a gallery will get a reading, because it depends. If you have a huge number of people, not everyone's going to be able to get in the time allotment, because you figure your average reading is anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes on an
Right.
average.
Right.
With your smaller readings, your smaller sittings, everyone gets a reading.
Right.
So that's typically the difference.
But the message and the information should be about the same, right?
It is.
Right, and
It's the
then
same.
for whenever you're in a gallery, you were put in that place for a specific reason at a specific time. These messages are for you too. Inevitably, it's for you too. You know, you're going to learn something. You're going to understand how this works. You're going to start seeing how this comes in, how it helps the person sitting next to you or across from you. It's very healing. It's a very healing experience. So.
So what would you like anyone else to know about what's happening or what's going on with y'all when y'all connect to spirit?
Let's see.
I guess I would like them to know that what I'm always surprised about is whenever I am out in the community or I'm doing readings out at houses and parties, and inevitably most everyone there has a Me Too, that happened to Me Too experience. So they already understand how this works. They already have an interest in this. They just need a little bit of guidance to know where they need to bring it, how to develop this.
Right.
It's not a secret. There's no, I'm not sitting in the back doing something. There's none of that. All of this is using your intuition, understanding the images and messages, signs and symbols that are being brought to you, understanding how to focus and see what it is that you're seeing, and then how to communicate that. So it's about perception, reception, and communication.
And the issue is too that when we're doing the mediumship, when we're connecting through the right side, if you start using your left side, sometimes you will lose your connection. So that's what you have to learn. You have to train on how to be able to go in and out, when you're doing that, so that you can
because
get that.
you have to use your left side of your brain to make the communication.
Right. And the right side you're using to connect.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to do that. So it's fine tuning these skills. It's like anything. You get better when you practice. So that's what we keep telling people. Practice, 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 but get training, because you need. It's always better to get training from the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
So something that is always great to discuss with people, what are some misconceptions about mediumship that y'all would like to clarify or educate people on?
Gosh, where would you begin? I don't. It's so strange because we're all raised in different belief systems, different faiths,
religions,
from all over the world.
Right.
But every faith or belief system has intuition. They use it in different ways, and they call it by different names.
Right.
So I guess what I would like everyone to know is that it's just a form of communication, and it is a faculty that each person has. It's a part of us that we might have put away that 1,000 years ago. I don't know. But it is really important to keep that communication.
Well, and it's also, we want to take away the myth that it is a lot of scary stuff or woo-woo stuff, because it's not. And a lot of times you'll see mediums or psychics are put in a bad light, and that's what we're trying to dispel this, because it's not. I mean, this,
Sure.
You are communicating, and you're being trained, and we've trained through all these different, teachers, because you're actually training to do a certain function. So we're trying to take the mysticism out of the, what has happened in the past about mediumship and psychics and things like that.
Yeah, right. And of course, you're gonna, no matter what profession you're in, you're gonna have different levels of people, whether it's doctors, lawyers, workers, labormen, whatever the profession is, you're going to have different levels in each place that you go. As far as what we do, we work, we have a lot of integrity, we do our work, we do our job, we also meditate. I have to have a lot of meditation in order to do this, and just a connectedness in order to keep this going. So there's a lot to it, but it's,
and what we try to do, our twist is that we also try to combine it with healing modalities such as energy work. And with the energy work, a lot of times when you're working with people in the energy work, we get messages that way too, because they're on the table, we're doing energy work on them, and all of a sudden their loved ones are there. We feel them, we sense them, we start talking and communicating with the loved ones and giving messages to the client. So that's another way that we can help heal, because sometimes they just show up.
Yeah, I think early on in my career, as I started, kind of going into this and trying to figure this out with all of my folks, thank goodness for the support of my family and friends all these years. But as I first started, I realized people would just keep coming back to me for a reading, wanting to connect with their loved one. And I realized early on there has got to be some healing with this too. If I don't help heal the person and they really know that this is their loved one and they feel good about where their loved one is and what's going on and that they're still part of their lives, then they can move on. then they can take a step up. And it's like turning a dial, and you might just take one small step at a time. But it's about, just raising the vibration. It's about healing one little bit at a time.
And that's what one of our teachers told us. You have to remember that you may be the first and last medium
That they
will ever see, and that their loved one is trying to connect with them.
Yeah.
And that's why we take it so seriously,
yeah.
because we are trying to help heal their loved one.
Right.
And that's what's very important to us.
Yeah. Each message and each person, I'm so very thankful, like that I was the one that was able to meet their mother or father or grandfather or brother or sister or son or daughter. Right. I was the one that got to sit with them for that amount of time, and I feel closer to the family. Now I feel part of their family because I have their collective memories. I was able to participate in that.
And many of our clients are like that. You see them, and they come after repeatedly, and you become that family, and you're giving them, their messages from their loved ones, which it really connects you to them.
Yeah, it does. It's healing for us, and it's a lot of information. It's a lot of compassion. You get to have a lot of different experiences. Yeah.
So we were talking about Reiki, I know. One thing that we just wanted to mention, and we're going to put out an article on our Facebook page about Reiki in a little more detail. Yeah. But just
we like Reiki.
We like Reiki. We love doing energy work. It feels so good. It makes us feel good when we're helping the client. But the definition, if you want the formal definition, it's a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that also promotes healing. And essentially what we do is we are, energy will flow through us, through our hands, and you can either touch someone or you don't have to touch someone. You can put your hands, slightly off of the area that you're connected to. And essentially you can either focus on an area of the body, or you can it'll just go wherever it's needed. And that's what's important. Rei means higher power, and then Ki is life force energy.
Yeah.
So what's the definition again?
The definition, it's a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that promotes healing.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So this is something that they can get at some of your galleries.
Yes.
And at I know at Twisted Hair Salon, y'all do the readings in Reiki. So this is
This is where they actually get a table session. They will lie down on, our massage table, and they're fully clothed. And typically we start at the head, and we start doing certain hand positions. And then if they say, oh, my knee's hurting, so we'll put some extra energy there, or whatever it might be. And then after, we do the session, we use essential oils for the scents, and then we have the candles, and we also use, some other things. It's just relaxation and music.
It really is wonderful, and it has this wonderful afterglow. Like even the day of the session, you may not, you'll feel the energy moving, and it does feel better. But I always feel like the next day is the best day. I liken it to whenever I was a kid and my favorite cousin, Holly, I guess if she's out there anyway, would come spend the night. And before I would even open my eyes, I would think, okay, do we want to go play hide and go seek? Do we want to go swimming? Do we want to, so you wake up and you remember this feeling of like a bright, shiny day. You feel really, really good. And so I don't know all the things that this wonderful healing energy does, but it does have this wonderful feeling the next day. They are using this healing modality now in hospitals.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
For animals,
they
right?
use it for animals.
Yes.
They use it in hospitals before and after surgeries.
Yeah.
And you can actually, when you start practicing Reiki, you can actually feel blockages where the energy is disturbed. And what you're doing is you're trying to move the blockages, and people will go, wow, I don't feel that pain in that area anymore. It feels so much better. I can move that shoulder, or whatever it might be. So you're trying to move the energy and deal with the blockages and things like that.
So does Reiki only work for physical issues?
No, it works for emotional, mental, spiritual issues. So
It also works long distance.
it also works long distance, and we've done that before.
Yeah.
We've done long distance Reiki.
And it's nice to
treatment.
have the science behind it. You know,
Right.
this is one of the healing modalities that science over and over and over again has been able to prove.
It's actually,
really
I'll
great.
give you a story about it. My son, he was lifting weights because he likes to keep in shape, and he tore a tendon here. So I'm in, I'm in the hospital room, and I'm doing Reiki on his arm right before surgery, and then after surgery, every day for like 2 weeks, I did Reiki. And he says, Mom, he says, stop touching my stitches. I said, sweetheart, I said, I'm not touching your stitches. I was about 2 or 3 inches away, but he could feel that energy moving around that area.
Yeah.
And he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, my God, you heal so quickly.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't tell him, Mom, but, but he had a little help there. So we do use it to promote healing.
That's awesome. So how would y'all feel about taking some questions from your viewers?
Sure.
Sure.
So Blair Boudreaux asks, any suggestions for someone looking for a mentor?
Sure. I have a mentor program.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you'd like to write us,
Yes.
we
Facebook us.
Yes, you can write us on Facebook, and I've been mentoring us women for many years through this, especially whenever they're opening up to their intuition and they're starting to get the information in, and then we'll share
How to
books
do
and
it.
education.
And we actually have classes that we're going to be actually starting in September
Yeah.
on finding how
Yeah.
to fine tune your intuition,
Right.
and using all of your different clairs. So we'll actually have classes that we start in September.
Fantastic.
Sounds good, Blair.
Look
So-
forward to it.
Speaking of classes, so I see y'all moving into teaching,
Yes.
and what can people expect to get from y'all as teachers? What is it that y'all really want people to learn about intuitive work and mediumship?
Really, we want them to understand that the information that they are receiving is correct. They are already getting the information. They know that they're getting the information. Look, there's not anyone that I've ever met that said, oh no, I've never gotten anything. People know whenever someone walks in the room whether they like them or not. People know that they know that their dad communicated with them in this way and left the locket on the edge of the dresser. I mean, we hear these stories all the time.
Or flick the lights on and off, or whatever
Yeah,
it might be.
right.
They're getting signs, but they're not really sure how to interpret it. So that's one thing that we want to teach them, but we also want to do it in such a way where they practice.
They're practicing
They're
and practicing
practicing
and
and practicing and practicing.
and looking at another article and tell me what you get here. Okay, write it down. And actually, this is one of the things that whenever you learn this, being wrong is just as good as being right, because there's a feeling with being wrong. Oh, that doesn't quite feel
Doesn't
right.
feel right.
I knew that whenever I said it, it came off my tongue and it just wasn't quite right. And then whenever it feels right, the flow of it, the allowance of it, the relaxation and the feeling, the gentleness of it.
You know, we want to teach them how to sense things, by holding an object. Psychometry, what does that feel like? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? I see a tall, dark person. He used to wear this hat. You see graham crackers with you. I told that to one. She goes, "Get out of here!" I said, "No," but you can actually get that from from sensing it. So we want to teach people how to trust their senses, and to be able to use all the different clairs.
Fantastic. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with your viewers and everyone in the modern medium world before we sign off tonight?
Well, check us out on Facebook, and if you have questions or you have some articles or some topics that you would like us to work on or focus on, we can write about those, or mention that on our Facebook. So we're here to educate, we're here to teach, and we're here to
whatever you want to know. There are thousands of other people that want to know the same thing.
and we'll be doing more of these live broadcasts. So if there's a topic you want us to cover, send it to us. We'll be glad to cover it with you.
Awesome. Well, Tonia and Alesia, thank you so much for this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody for seeing us and coming to see us. Thank you.
And stay tuned to Modern Medium's Facebook page for more events, news, and live broadcasts. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank you.